right, we're here with first-year NCCU women's basketball head coach Trisha Stafford-Odom. Thanks for joining us here today. Coach, welcome. Just give us kind of a recap of how things have been going so far for you and your team.
Well, first of all, thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here, excited to get this 17-18 season going. And the recap would be that we've come a long way already in a few months. Started having to teach the basics of my expectations mainly, and changing mindsets, changing mentalities, and trying to just overall change the culture of the team so that we can get towards playing transition basketball and being aggressive on the floor.
And can you talk a little bit about that philosophy that you bring to NCCU?
Well, I'm thinking about transition, stops, and offense. TSO basketball is what I want to bring here, and we've got to be in shape to run. We've got to get up about between 80 to 95 shots a game, trying to average more than 70, 75 points a game, which is a big difference than the teams that they have had in the past. But I don't like boring basketball. I want to be able to use our skill sets in the open court, be a pressuring team so that we change defenses and give the opponent fits, not knowing where we're coming from, how we're going to get stops, but be able to do that on a consistent basis in a variety of ways. And then offensively, I want everyone to have the skills to be able to be an offensive threat. So we do day-to-day skill training and developing our players and trying to put them in the best situations possible. And what we're realizing is everybody won't have a green light to shoot, but we're figuring out who can score and who can't, and what everyone's strengths are.
Has it been kind of like back to the basics of this group, because scoring was an issue last year, and you said you wanted everybody to be a threat?
Most definitely. Like, you know that better than me. But, yeah, back to the basics. And, again, a lot of it with our team and our program right now seems to be defining roles and allowing everyone to gain a little bit of confidence. I mean, I think confidence could have been part of the issue because we do have players that are definitely skilled and able to play. The last staff brought in some people that can play basketball. Now I need them to know how to play it our way. You know, this staff is accustomed to a high level of basketball, and we want our players to adopt that mentality that, like, we go, we pressure, and we don't back down to anyone, but we set the tone of basketball games. So we are getting there. And, yes, we are continuously changing some mentalities and changing some thought processes and how people think. And actually defining their roles, letting them know, no, this is not what you do well, but this is what you're excellent at. So let's put you in those situations.
I know you said when you first got here, you guys kind of fill each other out, get to know each other. Was there a period of kind of an adjustment period for them, just been a different style and everything?
The players? You mean the players? Absolutely. Yeah. They didn't know what we were expecting, so I had to make sure I was articulating exactly what I wanted from them, and my staff has done an excellent job in echoing what I want, echoing my voice. So, yeah, they're still learning what I want, what I won't tolerate. You know, there's some do's and don'ts, and I think right now, at this point, they're learning what the don'ts are. That trigger crazy responses of my assistant coaches, of course, not me, in practice. But they're learning the things that we won't tolerate. Like, we are trying to be a team that limits shot opportunities and second chance points. We're also trying to be a team that doesn't turn the ball over, which is a big difference from the squad last year. So we're trying to teach them to value the basketball, and every possession matters. So they're learning.
I know you spend a lot of time coaching in this area. Does this kind of feel like a homecoming to you, and why is this part of the country so important to you?
It's a good question. You kind of answered the question in your question. But home is California. I mean, make no doubt about it. That is home. But I would say that everyone has opened their arms and welcomed me to make me feel like this is a second home for the Odom family. It's important to do well here because I do have a history here. Thank God I got back here because the history I had. I came in the 4 years I was here. I impressed a few people, so they wanted to bring me back. So I figured if I have to go all the way from California, passing a whole bunch of states, it was okay to come back here. And I aspire to do real well because a lot of people have my back, and I want to succeed for them. I'm familiar with the area, familiar with the culture, even though the HBCU experience is different for me. I will say, honestly, Coach Lavelle is telling me a lot of things that I need to know that I wouldn't hear from the average person because he's been here, he's been successful, and he's able to help me. So maybe I don't fall in some of the traps that other coaches have in the past. So it's helpful. I mean, to know that I have some family friends here and people that genuinely want me to succeed and do well, it's a great feeling.
I don't want to pry too deep into your private conversations, but you
can't do that. You can't. That's
right.
me and my boy right now. We got this bond going on. Who are you going to ask me? I'll allow you to ask me.
I want to hear a few of the lessons that he's taught you that you've already started to kind of put in practice.
Well, I'll say he's already told me to focus on my program. Nobody's going to love my program like I do. So in so many words, do what's best for the program. And in doing that, I'll make the university proud and my administrator proud. So that's just a tidbit. I can't give you too much because then he won't talk to me more.
I want to hear about some of the don'ts that your girls have been doing in practice. You said they had to do.
Man, don't turn the freaking ball over. Just don't do that. Like, don't do stupid stuff. I mean, when I say stupid stuff, like I had a quote, and I didn't make it up. I didn't invent the wheel, but the definition of insanity, my director of basketball operations, she reminded me, Coach, that's just doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. So that drives me nuts. I mean, if we're correcting things, Coach Hall, Coach Lewis, if they spend time correcting something or teaching something, I do not expect that mistake to get made repetitively. So that's a don't. That's a big don't. Do go hard. Do bring the level of practice up on a daily basis. Like, be that one that everybody pulls from. Don't be a downer. Be the one that sets the tone. Be early, don't be late. I mean, the basic things that now mean a lot to me because it's my program and I understand the value of it. Don't take shots that aren't your strength. If you haven't proven that's your type of shot in practice, then it's definitely not your shot in a game. So I want the players to understand that we are on the same page and we all understand this. Do be hungry and excited to play on a daily basis. I mean, be supportive of your teammates. But win your race first. I got that from Coach Hall, A.G. Hall. We got players, and I want them to respect one another and hold each other accountable. But at the same time, I can't hold you accountable when I haven't done what I'm supposed to do. So do your part first, and then you can reach out and be the friendly neighbor.
The veterans on this team, how are they interacting with this new personality that you're bringing? The ones that have been in this program. How are you guys gelling and meshing together so far?
In my mind, it's great. Because somebody has told me it's my mind that matters. Since I'm the head coach, I get to say that. So I want everybody to be on my page, and I think that's going well. I do have some veteran leadership. Deja McCain, Rodnisha Martin is playing outstanding basketball right now. She's playing on another level. Her confidence is she's flourishing on a daily basis. We're kind of transitioning her into a point guard, even though she's an explosive scorer. She's not the most vocal person, but again, back to Deja McCain, who those two are our captains. Deja's pretty vocal. Now we're trying to allow Deja to match her direction. So in other words, Deja, you're saying the right things. Now I want you to do the right things so you can be that much more of a leader for this team. They all are learning. I won't say that any of the leaders that we have are able to, they can't lead blindly because they're still learning what we expect. So everyone's in a new situation, learning what we expect of them and how to change the direction of the past. And that's just very important to me. I was telling Kyle Serba that last week. Like I want to create a winning environment. And with all respect, I don't know how much I can take from the past and pull it over to the future because, to the present, because it wasn't what the administrators in the university would have liked. So I don't want that. We're starting from scratch in many ways.
When you took over the team, what was the talent level that you find this women's team at compared to, say, the rest of the conference, you may say?
I'm not too familiar with the rest of the conference. I am now, but at the time when I took the job, I wasn't. I feel like we're a few pieces away from contending for the MEAC championship. I really do. And the pieces I need to bring in or we need to have or develop have to be scoring threats, and they have to definitely have a court presence every night, not just every other night. I think there was a disparity in the talent pool from what I would like and what we intend to create or bring in. I'm accustomed to a really, really high level of talent. While I was here in this area before, I mean, I was supposedly one of the best. I think that every day, but that's what they said. They said I was one of the best recruiters, so I was able to bring in a couple of #1 recruiting classes for the ACC and back for the Pac-12. So I do think there's a disparity in the talent pool, like Coach Moten has done, like Coach Mack has done. I want to bring in talent that sometimes people look at and say, oh, that's a steal for where I am. We have no problem doing that. And we're going to bring in some size and some length and a lot of athleticism. And then almost most importantly, I'd say some IQ, some better basketball IQ to where if you're not athletic enough to make the play, you can think the play and make the play easier. So I'm getting a little more comfortable sitting up here, LaVelle, as I start out. It's still hot, though. It's still hot.
I'm looking at your non-conference schedule.
Yes.
How big does it have a team like an Oregon State come here to Durham and play you guys here in McDougal, Atlanta?
I think it's big for what McDougal has had for the women's side in the past, but that's what I expect. I mean, my expectations are as such. I mean, that's a relationship thing that happened. I think Oregon State's coming in. They're gonna play in Durham, and the head coach was able to pick the phone up because of the people that I've been able to meet in the past. They know, they want to be a part of our transition, and they asked me, and we had to turn down several BCF schools to play this year because of the schedule. But people are wanting to play us, and it's going to be a shock to see who we bring in this arena. It's going to happen. So it's a big deal. It's a new deal, not necessarily a big deal. But I'm excited about it and appreciative of those people that want to be a part of what we new Eagles are bringing to the table.
Your swag and your comfort level that you're already presenting to us right here in this press conference, do your players feel like that's something, do you feel like that is something that will filter down to your players and they can express that on the court and it'll help them in their development of this program?
Most definitely. First of all, thank you for the compliment. I get the swag from my sons. They kind of teach me a little bit. But it's just natural. It's just being me. And I definitely think that leadership starts from the top. I mean, it starts from the tip top. So if my players see me on a daily basis, come in with confidence, walk in prepared, then I think they understand that's who they need to be and have to be. And I give them the green light to express themselves on the court. So most definitely. I mean, I cheer for a play. I get excited for things like that. I'm a fan of the game still. So most definitely, if you can bring that swag and confidence to wherever you are, whatever you're doing, I think it assists you. And if nothing else, it puts a little fear in the opponent's eyes. So.
You've been around some big-time staffs, big-time programs, learn from Hall of Famers and future Hall of Famers. How has that helped you grow to where you are now?
I would think that it's allowed me to mature a little more faster in my profession and avoid some of the pitfalls, and in my recruiting go a little deeper in the types of players and people that I'm looking to recruit and bring into a program. Not just the talent, but it's way more to it. Being more prepared, walking out with confidence. I remember one of the first times I had to call a play. I had my paper and I was looking at notes, and a gentleman recently in the NBA said to me, I did something in Portsmouth for the NBA, and he said to me, "You were really good, but put the paper away." Because the moment you have the paper, your crowd thinks you don't know what you're talking about, comes off as unsure. So things like that, just the appearance, how it looks, how I come off. I think some veteran leadership and some future Hall of Famers told me, go in there, speak with confidence. I think I'm trying to stay in a good enough shape to where I can be an example on the floor a little bit every once in a while. At least fake it like I'm in shape, and then they listen a little better. So I've been really fortunate who I've been around. And what I did do is sit in on a lot of practices. As a matter of fact, I found myself sneaking in Coach Moten's practice the other day. I just want to learn from people that have done it and done it well. And I think I'm going to be able to continue to do that. I can pick the phone up. I can call a lot of people that want to help me, and that's a good thing.
How old are your sons?
I thought you were about to ask my age, man. I was about to say, you just out of line. You just out of line. That's the one? My sons are 10 and 12, 5th grade and 7th grade. Trajan Odom is the younger. He looks like the bigger. He's huge. And Amari Odom, AO, he's 12. And, he's saying he's going to play for Coach Moten or Coach Mack. And Trajan's going to be a football player. And they got aspirations. If they knew I was doing this without them, they would not be happy. They want to be right here with me. But those are my dudes. And I got a supportive husband, Dwayne Odom. He loves me to death still. So I'm excited about that because I know I have the support of my family. So.
Is that after the Duke player?
Yes, it is. Absolutely it is. So what's crazy is I had him obviously before I went to Duke, and that's a name that I had to explain, and now Trajan knows his history. Spelled a little different, but that is exactly where I got the name from, Trajan Langdon. So.
Have they ever met? I know you said Duke for a while.
He did meet him. Trajan did meet him, and I said, Trajan, do you know who that is? Yes, who I'm named after? I mean, he didn't know what he did, but he's since looked him up, Googled him. I think Trajan is now the GM at Brooklyn Nets or something like that. So not bad footsteps to follow after he follows Daddy's footsteps. Yeah, so.
This has been an exclusive presentation of the NCCU Sports Network.